At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Oh boy. Hello, how you doing? Having a few technical problems this morning. You may have noticed that if you kind of checked in, I'm a little late. I've been kind of tinkering with a few things here behind the scenes, and there was a cable that was not connected properly, and of course it kind of put me at a little bit of a delay, but we are here. We are ready to get going here. Got my cup of coffee, ready to hang out with you, ready to give you some weather, and get ready for the day, and get ready for some holiday travel that many of you may be doing today. I mean, some people, it just depends on what your plans are, right? Maybe you're leaving today. So we're going to take a look at that that travel forecast here for today, tomorrow, and even into Friday. But it looks like the wet weather we've been contending with, that's over, folks. And it's going to be over for a while, unfortunately. But we're going to take a look at some of what we've got going on here with the lakes. There's been some kind of buzz going on around with the lakes and how the lake levels are doing. They are looking good, my friends. They are looking good. And we saw quite a rise in those lake levels over the last week. And we're going to take a look at Lake Shasta in particular to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like out there. We're also going to take a look at, as I mentioned, that travel forecast, even some of the chain requirements as you head south towards the Tahoe region, and even south of that into the southern portions of this year as well. So let's, of course, start off with some good mornings. We got Delinda, we got Chappie, all saying Happy Thanksgiving Eve, everyone. Good morning. Got my coffee. I've also got my coffee as well, so I'm very excited about that. Should be a good day for a good cup of coffee. It's always a good day for a good cup of coffee. All right, let's get you to it. We're going to take a look at Krueger's Quickcast on this Wednesday morning, November 27th, the day before Thanksgiving. We do have a freeze watch for not tonight, but through Wednesday morning. I meant to update that title there, but that should say through Wednesday morning. That's through this morning until 10 a.m. with temperatures dropping down into the low 30s. All right, so, and that's actually a frost advisory. Tell you what, folks, let's get started right. Let's get started right. We're going to get the show started right. We're going to go back to Krueger's Quickcast, and then we're going to do this because, you know, so many things. It's actually not a lot. It's pretty easy, actually, but, you know, doing a lot of things here. All right, here's Krueger's Quickcast. All right. Hey, welcome everybody. It's Wednesday, November 27th. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and we are taking a look at Krueger's Quickcast, starting off with a cold start to the day. A frost advisory has been issued for Del Norte and Humboldt County until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, with those temperatures expected to be in the low 30s for those lows this morning. So be prepared for some frost, not only for the coast, but for especially the higher elevations. Why do I have to? Oh, I know what's going on. Hi, good morning. Oh my goodness. I have the wrong show loaded up. That's why it went into tonight. Good morning. Okay, now we're loading up the right show. I am loading up the right show. Now it's going to take, let me go ahead and that should be okay. What do you say we get started again, shall we? Let's get started again. Good morning. Take 3. This is your Wednesday morning, November 27th, Krueger's Quickcast. All right. Temperatures this morning, as you can see, are on the chilly side, but it looks like we are above freezing and still in the mid to even upper 30s for parts of the valley like Red Bluff and Chico, but low 40s for places like Redding. So actually not as cold, but take a look at to the east. Chester, 18, 24 degrees for Alturas, 19 for Susanville. And we got those temperatures upper 30s and low 40s along the coast. Okay, take a look at the visibility out there this morning. Looks like the visibility is not that bad. There's that frost advisory I was telling you about. And we're going to take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning. This is taking a look at elk country in Trinidad, or at least just north of Trinidad. A lot of people argue that elk country is not in Trinidad, and some might argue that. However, the owner of that resort mentioned to me that their zip code and their town that they get their mail from is for the community of Trinidad. So just kind of wanted to give you a heads up on that. We'll take a look at, this is what it looks like in Crescent City. Oh man, clear skies out there. Look at this, look at the water. I mean, it's just calm, right? The winds aren't very strong, so definitely much better conditions out there this morning than we were looking at the last several mornings. Again, we'll take you back to the maps here, and we're gonna be talking about the chain requirements that we have out there. Now, right now, there are still some chain requirements, and this is something I mentioned yesterday, that we're still going to be looking at some of that residual ice, some of that residual snow on the roads, and that's going to create some problems. So you can see on Highway 44 near Bogard Ranger Station, and it looks like around for down near Summit there are chain requirements. And then of course to the south as you get towards Tahoe, there are some chain requirements there as well. But these conditions are going to be improving here throughout the day today. Taking a look at some of the cameras out there. And just for fun, take a look at I-5, Dunsmuir I-5 near Mount Shasta. It looks like Snowman Summit is all clear as well, so that's kind of nice to see. We're also seeing things looking pretty good there. For down near Summit, you can see some of the sand to kind of help give them some of that better gription or traction on the road there. Hatchet Mountain looks clear. You can see Cedar Pass, a lot of snow on the side of the road, so just don't go on the side of the road, you'll be fine. There's Highway 299 and 80 and Highway 89 intersection there, so that looks all good as well. Take a look at the forecast. Oh, actually, no, we have one more set of cameras. Shingletown and Lassen Park looks a little icy there near Lassen Park. So even though there aren't any chain requirements in some areas, you do note that you may run into some patchy ice spots out there. So just take it easy, especially out on those mountain highways. Take a look at the road conditions. Look what happens. It just all fizzles out. No rain, no snow, just looking at improving conditions here throughout the day today. Getting you out the door this morning, well, it's going to be chilly. Probably somewhere in the upper 30s to low 40s in the valley, but you can see at least 20s for most of the higher elevations, and you can see upper 30s even for the coast. Quite chilly there this morning. All that moisture, you know, there is that, we still had, believe it or not, the atmospheric river over central and southern California. That's where they saw the rain yesterday. But that atmospheric river is now pretty much no longer impacting California, and it's just kind of pushing some of that moisture down to the south. So no more rain, it looks like, for the central and southern California region, which I'm sure they're happy to see that break. But looking at futurecast for today, not a cloud in the sky with the exception of maybe some clouds along the coast here later this afternoon and tonight. So for today, sunny skies. You know, despite the added sunshine, though, it's still going to feel a little chilly out there, even in the afternoon, with highs mainly in the upper 50s for the valley, 30s and 40s for your highs for the northern and eastern mountains. For Trinity County, low to mid 50s, upper 50s inland, and mid 50s along the coast. Now, taking a look at your 7-day outlook, excuse me, we are looking at temperatures slowly increasing. Low 60s Friday. Low 60s Saturday, Sunday, as well as Monday, Tuesday. So there is going to be a slight increase in the temperatures, but not that much warmer than normal. The normal high in the valley, by the way, this time of the year is about 60. So we'll just be a few degrees above that. For the coast, also seeing a slight increase, upper 50s by Sunday and into early next week. Inland, low to mid 60s. And for Weaverville, low 60s there as well. Let's take a look at Siskiyou, Modoc, and the Eastern Mountains. Now, look at the Eastern Mountains. You're in the mid-40s. By Friday, we stay that way all the way through Tuesday of next week. Alturas, Modoc County in general, probably somewhere in the mid to upper 40s. And then for Siskiyou County, getting into the 50s by Friday and basically staying in the low 50s through the weekend and into early next week. And if you'll notice, no rain. All right, let's talk about those lake levels. This is not the interesting part. This is looking at the last 24 hours. So the elevation of Lake Shasta is 995 feet. There you can see the elevation for Trinity and Oroville as well, Lake Oroville. Last 24 hours, you've seen an increase in all of them, about a little over a foot for Lake Shasta and also Lake Oroville. distance from the crest, you can see that, again, these numbers don't really mean a whole lot. But what does mean a whole lot is when we look at this. Now, you're looking at this and going, what are you looking at here? All right, that red line at the very bottom, that is the winter of 1976 and 1977 when it was very dry. And you can see just how low that lake got. That shaded light blue area, that is our historical average. That's where we typically are for this time of the year with those lake levels. That blue line that's kind of crossing through the red line at the bottom there that goes all the way up to the top, that is our typical total reservoir capacity. That's your reservoir capacity. That green line at the top was a wet winter, 1982 to 83, where you can see it actually went above the capacity. And that darker blue line, kind of in the center left there, that you can see a spike. You see that spike? That is the last week of how much we've seen that rise. So there it is right there. This is looking kind of at a better perspective of that. So on November 18th, Shasta Lake was at 985.52 feet. That was basically the elevation. The elevation now is a little over 995. So about a 10-foot increase in the last week. So for those of you who are wondering, wow, the lake looks higher. It is. It's 10 feet higher than it was about a week ago. How cool is that? It's great to see the lakes filling up again. There you can see the chain requirements. We saw that this morning. Let's take you to the south here. And you can see around, so if you're heading to the Tahoe region, do note that on Highway 70, chain requirements there. And as you're coming in from the south, say around Sacramento, or even south of that, there are some chain requirements there. But it looks like I-80 looks to be okay, as well as Highway 50. But to the south, and where this is a little less traveled, but you can see some of the chain requirements there are in the southern Sierra. So they can see on the map there's Fresno, to the east of Fresno. If you're traveling anywhere to the north, it's going to be cold. Be prepared for some patchy fog out there, especially this morning. Otherwise, you'll be looking at those cold temperatures, but mainly dry conditions, even up to the Pacific Northwest. So you don't have to worry about rain or snow, but you do have to worry about it just being cold. Make sure you bring something warm if you're going to be heading up north. And of course for Friday, Spokane only getting a high of 33, Pendleton about 37, Boise 37 degrees, and Bend a high of about 43. Let's take it to the south. We're still seeing some of the clouds out there, but no rain for today, and some of that morning fog for parts of the valley here, even for Thursday morning. Otherwise, of course, San Diego, some of the fog in the morning clearing out. But low 70s, places like Palm Springs and Yuma, San Diego. And on Friday, looking at the mid 70s for Palm Springs and Los Angeles, a high of about 71 degrees. And if you're traveling via airplane, for today, limited to minor impacts over New Mexico and into Colorado, and of course up to the north. Look at tomorrow. Looks pretty good. Look at Friday. Looking pretty good as well. Taking a look at some of the airports, looks like there is a minor delay out in San Diego. Looks like there are 23-minute delays over there. All right, so just be aware of that. If you have a connecting flight from San Diego, there might be some minor delays in that area. Let's take a look at some of the cameras out there. Ooh, nice. Looking at Lake Oroville this morning. Taking a look at North Forebay. A little bit of a breeze this morning, creating some ripples in the water, but nothing major when it comes to those winds. Taking a look at Main Street Chico on Highway 32. Looks like some people still out there getting ready to do some work this morning. You can see Highway 99 at Neal Road. Still plenty of commuters heading out to work this morning. So traffic is flowing as usual out there. Take a look at Highway 44 in Redding at Sundial Bridge Drive. All clear there as well. Hey, by the way, I want you to share your photos with me if you can. If you take a beautiful shot of maybe some of those fall colors, send it through the free Weather NorCal app on your iPhone or your Android, and you can see those photos right here on Coffee with Krueger in the morning and on my morning show. So it's not just the leaves. It's this time of the, if you've been out and about, you've seen them, especially in the valley. Gorgeous, right? But there are other great photos you can take pictures of. If you're up in the snow, maybe making a snowman, the kids having a good old time. Share those photos. I'd love to see them, and I'd love to share them right here on Coffee with Krueger. All right, so again, how's everybody doing out there this morning? Getting ready to do that deeper dive forecast. But before we do that, I'm just going to check in with some of you this morning and see how you all are. We're going to start from the very beginning. And we're just going to kind of go through some of your comments out there this morning. We got Chappie, the first to come in. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, everyone. It is cold. It is. It definitely is cold out there. Of course, if you're in the valley, it's not as cold there. Delinda's saying, good morning. Got my coffee. I got my coffee as well. And of course, Curtis was saying, good morning, everyone. It's chilly. Watch those cables. Yeah, of course, as you know, I had some technical issues this morning and kind of tinkering with a few things yesterday. I'll probably be tinkering with them again today, but I'm anticipating making sure the cables all need to be in the proper place here for tomorrow. It's clear and cold in Eureka. Some of the roofs have frost on them. Yeah. And that's why there's a frost advisory. Including Eureka. So thank you, Esther, for that information. We've got Betty saying, hi, Mike. Hi to you. And hello to everybody else. We've got a good morning coming in from LaDonna. I believe is how you'd say your name. Good morning, Mike. And good morning to you. Let's see here. We've got Catherine saying 19 and clear this morning. You have to remind me where you are. I know a lot of you are the regulars, and sometimes I still forget where you are because I'm getting to the point where a lot of the regulars, I can't remember all of where you're from, but I think Catherine, if I'm not mistaken, El Turis, Fall River Mills, I think. Ruth is saying, good morning, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic day. Be careful. The roads are slippery. They are. I showed you some of the Caltrans cameras. Again, even though we don't have a lot of chain requirements out there, you're still going to run into a lot of slick spots. So be careful. Good reminder, Ruth. Thank you for that. Tracy saying good morning from MacArthur. Thank you. See, yeah, there you go. MacArthur. Be safe out there. Lots of ice on the roof. See, again, even though there aren't any chain requirements in MacArthur, it's slippery. Frosty, cold in Fortuna. Yeah, I mean, no surprises there. That's why there's that frost advisory that the National Weather Service had issued yesterday evening, as a matter of fact here. Thank you, Rowdy, for that information. 34 degrees up here in Whitmore. Oof. 34 chilly degrees, Darren. Thank you for that information. Looks like Frosty and Anderson by the Sacramento River. Thank you, Leon. Interesting. So there are going to be some wind-sheltered areas that maybe see some colder temperatures for some of us in the valley. Catherine, Castle. There you go. I always want to say Cassell, but I know it's Castle. Because Castle, you know, as we know, the castle, there is a castle, right? That's spelled with the C-A-S-T-L-E. Tracy, yesterday the weather was a little all over the place. We had rain, hail, snow, and sunshine. Yeah, it was one of those things. We were kind of in the transition. Yesterday was the transition day to where we are now. And where we are now is dry, but still cool. That's essentially what we got going on out there this morning. So thank you for those reports. Thanks for checking in, everybody. I always just appreciate having some of those conversations with you, see what's going on with all of you out there. Because I live in my little 4x4 or 10x4, it feels like a 4x4 room, but a 10x10 room in my studio here, but I look outside. I'd sometimes like to step outside to see how cold it is, even though I can see the temperature. It's always nice to get the real feel out there, see what's going on. So I always appreciate you all just checking in and tell me what's going on where you are. Well, tell you what do you say we get to the deeper dive forecast this morning? We're going to, of course, mention our sponsor, which is Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials, that is, and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Good times over there at Wind River. And we want to take a look again at those frost alerts. Of course, I'm getting confirmation. Eureka, Fortuna, you're seeing that frost out there this morning. So if you live along the coast or even those inland areas, and not to mention many of the higher elevations, and you don't have the luxury of a garage, be prepared for frost on your windshield. Give yourself some extra time to get those scraped off. So that's until 10 o'clock this morning. All right, there you can see temperatures kind of differences in different areas. Some areas that are a little more wind sheltered are going to be cooler in the valley. Those that see a little, even just a slight breeze, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles an hour, that's enough to keep those temperatures up a little bit here. 43 for Redding, 36 for Chico, 41 degrees right now in Oroville, 25 in El Turis, but look at Chester. 18 chilly degrees this morning, 30 degrees for Weaverville, and 29 degrees in Hayfork. All right, here's your weather headlines. Drier and more mild. That weather is going to stick around here. This wild, I mean, here's the thing. We've got smooth sailing for all of you who are traveling. Both across the nation, as far as the weather is concerned, you don't have to worry about any major storms, but also here locally. We're looking at good road conditions. You don't have to worry about that. Just driving safely is very important. But highs will be near or just above normal through most likely all of next week. And it's dry and warmer conditions here. I mean, it's going to stick around for a while. You know, this is one of the things that we don't like to talk about, and the fact that we've got a drying trend here. Most likely, I'm anticipating at least a couple of weeks. Now, this is the time of year we want to get that rain, but kind of in, you know, in moderation. We got a lot of rainfall last week, really helping with those lake levels. Lakes are still rising. This is good. But what's not so great is the fact that now we're going into a drier trend. Now you can see all that moisture over Southern California yesterday. That's pushed down to the south. We're seeing those clouds begin to break apart. In the meantime, we've got mainly clear skies. And one thing I want to point out, when you're looking at these satellite images, keep in mind, this is what's called the infrared satellite image. Now, infrared is kind of like temperature, basically, right? So it detects the temperature of the clouds. And based on the temperature of those clouds, there's basically a color table we put in there with these colors. So the lighter the shade of white, the colder the cloud top is. The kind of the grayer, darker whites are going to be warmer clouds. But that being said, you can see right here, this just looks like a veil of clouds, thin clouds over this whole area. What that is, it's clear skies, but it's so cold at the surface that the infrared satellite image is picking up on those cold temperatures, making it look like there are some low clouds there. So you can see it's not as cold for the valley, so we're not seeing that milky white color. But look at that over, you know, the eastern northern mountains. It's cold and clear, but it looks like there's clouds, but there aren't. All right, just a fun little fact there. There you can see the area of low pressure to our south. That's not going to impact us. Parade of storms off to the west all this week, all next week, but they can't hit us. They can't move over us. Why? Right here. This is the jet stream. And storms tend to follow the track of the jet stream. And that's exactly what's happening here. You see all these storms? All this rain, it's just going up and over that ridge of high pressure. So it's kind of like this brick wall, this dome that's over us that prevents these storms from moving in. Now, there is a little bit of wet weather associated with this area of low pressure. This is what I like to call an undercutting area of low pressure. We have the main ridge, and typically you don't have low pressure associated with that, but sometimes you can get these low pressure systems that kind of undercut that ridge a little bit here. But we are going to possibly see parts of Southern California and down towards the desert Southwest, maybe some showers in the coming week. But it's not going to come anywhere near us. That's about it. So the drier than normal conditions, that's what the Climate Prediction Center has us. A little bit wetter up to the northeast of us. Now this looks like, wow, it's going to be so warm. It's going to be like 70s and 80s. What this is basically saying is our chances of seeing above normal temperatures, they get higher and higher as we start getting into these darker reds. So don't be fooled by the fact that, oh wow, we're seeing the darker reds, it's going to be so much warmer. Actually, it's not. The normal high in the valley, for example, is 60 degrees. We're going to be right around that here through the weekend, really even through the first half of the weekend. You can see how kind of we nudge it up a little bit here. Then we're into about 62 to 63. That's only 2 to 3 degrees above normal. Now granted, this is most likely going to change, and maybe it'll be closer to 64, 65. And as you can see here, by the end of next week, maybe around 66 degrees. But this is not a major warm-up. So really, quite honestly, it's just seasonal temperatures here over the next 10 days plus. Now you can see the wave heights are looking pretty good out there, and they're going to be even better, it looks like, for your Thursday. So if you do need to be out on that boat, hopefully you're not, if you're a fisherman or a fisher, if you're out fishing, because I know that there are women who fish as well. If you're out there, hopefully you're not out there on Thanksgiving, but maybe you like to catch some crab and have some Thanksgiving crab. I don't know. North winds at about 5 to 10 knots. Your waves to the northwest at 3 feet at about 6 seconds. There's your high and low tide. No advisories, no alerts, none of that. Here's what we have in store for us today. Looking at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the low to mid 50s around Highway 299, Highway 3, low to mid 50s. We'll keep it around 50 to mid 50s here, give or take. But see how we're just ticking upward a little bit each day? That's essentially the trend that we've got going on as we approach the weekend and even going into next week. Southern Trinity County, 53 for Ruth, 50 in Forest Glen. Peanut, a little cooler there at about 46. In Wildwood, about 48 degrees. Here's Southern Humboldt County for your North Coast neighborhood forecast. Temperatures mid to upper 50s there. 56 for Shelter Cove as well as Honeydew. Take you up north, 54 degrees in Ferndale, 54 in Fortuna, 52 degrees for Rio Dell. And up north, 56 for Blue Lake, 55 in McKinleyville, 54 Eureka, 59 for Willow Creek, and 57 degrees in Hoopa. 54 degrees for your high in Crescent City, 57 Smith River, Gasky, 52. Even for the coast, even out towards Crescent City, you'll probably see a slight increase here for early next week. Along Highway 96, we're right around 50, give or take. Looks like low 40s for the I-5 corridor there. Let's take you out into Scott Valley. We're anywhere from 42 to 43 for that daytime high today, ticking upward in the low 50s by Friday, Saturday, low to mid 50s here Sunday into early next week. And out towards Weed, a high of 39, 43 for Mount Shasta City. Pretty cold up in the high country there to the north and east with 36 degrees for Tennant, 36 in Tule Lake, and 36 for McDowell. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. This is also kind of the high plains. Whew, cold, cold, cold. A high of only 32 in Cedarville, 35 in Fort Bidwell, 35 for Newell. And looks like right around 37, 38 for Canby, Alturas, California Pines, 8 and 38. There you can see about 40 degrees out in Likely. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, 44 in Boerne, 42 degrees for Fall River Mills, Paynes Creek, 52, and Viola, about 44 degrees. Let's take a look to the south here, and there you can see Lake Elminor, Lassen Park. Looks like we got those temperatures upper 60s, upper 30s. 40 for Chester, 31 degrees for Summit Lake, and the south entrance, about 34 degrees out at Lake, at Lassen Park, that is. 54 degrees in Paradise, 41 for Greenville, and there you can see it's also the case for Doyle, with Susanville topping out at about 40 degrees. Here is your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by our friends at Waldmouth Painting, and yes, they paint anything. They don't just do the big jobs, they'll do your household job as well. 56 degrees out in Pasquinta, 57 degrees in Los Molinos, and 56 out in Gridley. There you can see out towards 57 in the city of Shasta Lake, 58 for Redding and Lakehead, about 54 degrees. Let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. And there is the turkey a-dancing on Thursday. That must be one of the pardoned turkeys, right? Because it's having a good old time. Temperatures upper 50s today and tomorrow. And we do have those low 60s for your daytime highs Friday and Saturday. So yeah, it's warming up a bit out there. And that's essentially what we got going on this morning. How's everybody? We're going to check in again with everybody this morning, see how you're all doing. We got Rachel saying morning. She's got the icon there. That's a guy who is cold. Chilly, chilly, chilly. There it is. Rachel, how you doing this morning? There you go. Yeah, Rachel's saying it was definitely chilly. So thank you for chiming in this morning. Let's take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning, and we'll kind of wrap things up. What do you say we wrap things up and get ready for a day before Thanksgiving? We got a lot going on. I think a lot of people have a lot of things going on. Of course, I know my wife will probably start preparing for getting everything ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're going to be hosting tomorrow. I still plan on doing coffee with Krueger tomorrow morning, by the way. Still planning on that. So I'll be here. I'll be here tomorrow morning. What a beautiful sunrise out at Lake Oroville. Not so beautiful there. I mean, that's cool. Look at all the great fall colors. Got the lake. That looks nice. Have yourselves a great day, and we will see you tomorrow morning on Coffee with Krueger at 7 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning. Have a great day, everyone.